when we talk about trauma, because I treat betrayal as a trauma generating event based on it's not because I read a book about betrayal, it's based on my own experiences and my own observations from my life over the course of years after my betrayal. And I compared it to PTSD, and it's just, it's parallel. It's pretty much the same. So when we talk about trauma, we often talk about the mind, until you've read this book. This one. In the book, you can really find that some interesting research that points that our bodies store the moments that were too overwhelming to process in the moment when they happened, right? And these are things that we couldn't run from, or things we couldn't speak about. And our nervous system remembers those things for us. And what happens after betrayal, you enter fight or flight, right? Because your body and your mind, they want to help you avoid this happening again. So you're on high alert, right? So you try to recognize patterns. You try to, that primitive part of our brain that recognizes patterns, it's just searching all around you if there are some patterns in other people's behavior that imitate or are similar to the patterns that the person who betrayed you exhibited, right? So you can find similarities and avoid that danger, avoid the betrayal again. Sadly, that means that you end up living in the fight or flight, and our bodies are just not designed to live in fight or flight. Fight or flight is designed for, gosh, I don't know, 15, 30 minutes of, escaping a tiger or fighting it. So if you spend your days or months in fight or flight, you don't sleep well, your digestion is impacted. When you're in fight or flight, part of your digestive system literally shuts down because it consumes too much energy. And you need energy to increase your heart rate so that adrenaline goes around your body awakes. You have women who are lifting cars off their babies because of the adrenaline rush in a moment, right? Things that are almost incredible. So you could actually fight off a tiger probably for at least a minute. Maybe, who knows? I don't want to find out. But the main teaching point here is that the nervous system isn't trying to punish you after betrayal. It may feel like that sometimes when you cannot sleep at night, when you're ruminating constantly, when you're just thinking about what they did or how you got thrown under the bus, how could he or she have done this, when you have kids, and all those questions. That's called rumination. That's part of fight or flight. So your nervous system isn't your enemy here. It's not trying to punish you. It's trying to protect you in the best way it can. And so tight muscles, shallow breath, stomach knots, and also over the long period of time, sleep issues, digestion issues, leading even to IBS. These are elements and results of survival strategies that are left on autopilot for far too long. And they can eventually break your body. But when they are happening over a short period of time, it's not an indication that your body is broken or your mind is broken. It's doing what it's supposed to do. But sometimes when the betrayal or the traumatizing event is goes so deep, it's very difficult for us to switch it off, right? And your body keeps remembering, your nervous system keeps remembering the event. And what was another teaching point here that's really important in my work, something that I truly believe in and have seen, is that what was overwhelming once can become safe to be healed and released. Right. And so this is what I do in my work. If I didn't believe that people can heal through this, I wouldn't be doing this. Probably I wouldn't have healed myself either. So little by little, things that were overwhelming once can be safely released. And it doesn't happen overnight. It happens, step by step, breath by breath. I like to involve people in somatic healing. And so in my program, I teach some various somatic techniques that I know work very well from different schools of thought. There's some breath work, there's some touch, there's some elements of EMDR. And so somatic healing, I really believe it. And also I noticed that it pairs really well with subconscious healing, which is the hypnosis part. So somatic healing isn't really about force or forcing anything. It's about inviting safety back into your body, right? You are inviting safety back into your body at your own pace. So you invite safety back into your body in a way that feels good. If it's breath work, then you invite it breath by breath, really, one breathing technique after another, and see what really resonates with you. If you're more kinesthetic, so you operate mostly through touch, that's how you learn, you heal, one touch after another, one gentle touch after another. And there are techniques for self-healing and nervous system reset that you can do on your own. And then you can, once you feel safe within your body, then you can start having, relationships with other people that feel safe, right? So you heal breath by breath, touch by touch, one movement at a time. Does that make sense so far? Yeah. Okay. Good. When you find yourself in that elevated state, in the fight or flight, it's good to come back to your body and actually sink into your body and have a moment of mindfulness and feel what you're feeling. That will help you divert your attention from all the stories that your mind is playing out. What if this happens? What if that happens? And so on. So you don't get on your own ride and, spend the rest of the day, panicking and so on. Focusing on how your body is experiencing the given moment can help you relax and reconnect with your body, right? And usually, and this is a tip for the future, usually you experience your emotions between your thigh genital area and your throat and jaw. So you can experience, like for instance, I experience anxiety between my shoulder blades. There's a tension just between my shoulder blades. But I know people who experience anxiety and stress like at the front of the chest, like Thomas just said. Fear, for instance, people describe a pit in their stomach and there's heaviness there, right? No one says, oh, I have so much fear in my body, it's in my left calf. I've never heard that happen before. Or I have so much anxiety in my thumb. It's always somewhere in your core, or something seizes up, or your throat seizes up, your jaw clenches, And in terms of fists, I would almost say that it can be also a referred thing from the shoulder, like the whole thing seizes up, the whole arm and forearm. So if you're in that elevated state and you find yourself, you have this moment of clarity where you think, oh, I'm ruminating, I'm panicking, what to do? Just feel into your body. It can help. It can help you ground yourself a little bit. It won't necessarily take this elevated state out, but that's the very first step for you to becoming more aware of what's happening and just stepping back a little bit into the observer's role, right? So you're not necessarily in the role in the elevated state, but you're just like observing and allowing yourself to breathe. And deep breath helps you relax a little bit more. So that elevated state, if it doesn't stop, it can at least not last for so long. Does that make sense? Okay, good. So with this brief topic, I'm going to wrap it up here, and let's move on to the hypnotic part of the meeting today.